Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of this bookish podcast. I'm your host, the Calcutan Bibliophile. I noticed something incredible recently after I uploaded the previous video to this channel. It was only my second video, and the first one was actually more than 2 years ago. I cannot wrap my head around that. The fact that time has moved on so fast is unfathomable for me. I could almost swear that I remember recording that first episode just the other day. This has to be peak procrastination, and I have reached it. I had meant to come back to this way sooner and had actually thought that I had. Anyway, I guess better late than never. So, I have been reading a lot about the mysterious way time moves in the Japanese murder mysteries I have been inhaling. And what a better day to talk to you about these books than today when I realized how mysteriously time actually has been moving. In one of the books, time was actually tampered with to facilitate all the killings for revenge. Yes, okay, I will not tell you more about that. But in all of these books, across authors, the revenge factor is very prominent. These are often termed as generational curses, but in reality, these are just family secrets and long held grudges. Nothing supernatural about it, just human greed. I think a lot of contemporary murder mystery is also based on motives either rooted in money or lust. Whereas classic mysteries delve deeper into the human psyche, and these are mostly about twisted sense of power imbalance, influences over society, or something as simple as ego. These Japanese classic mysteries are heavily inspired by Western mysteries, but locked room murders are popular with them, along with the headless corpse device. I got started down this path with Seishi Yokomizo's Detective Kosuke Kindaichi series, starting with the Honjin murders. But it was really Yukito Ayatsuji's Bizarre House Mysteries that have been one hit after another for me, with Uketsu's Strange Houses adding an increasingly interesting aspect to all the architectural mysteries that I have been reading ever since. The best thing about the older books is that they are not trying to hook the readers. They are just telling the story, giving the readers all the details so they can solve the mystery with the sleuth in the story. This aspect of taking the reader on for the ride and not trying to outsmart them is actually pretty refreshing. Now, I have always wanted to read more Poirot, and this Japanese stint is making me segue into that. That would actually be a very interesting way to get into the classics that these books are actually inspired by. I have about 3 books left in the Kindaichi series. Considering that these books were written in the post Second World War era, I find the plots to be incredibly progressive actually. The anti war sentiment and women's liberal lifestyles are highlighted. While the latter is critiqued from time to time, the female characters are given more depth and dimensions than most of the modern books have now. I would actually question the villainization of disabled people, but these are depicted as more of contemporary social perceptions than condoned by the protagonist or seen as the opinion of the author. I like the figure of Kosuke Kindaichi as well. He is not the suave, charming detectives that we are used to in the modern era. He is, in fact, adorably awkward, not taken seriously most of the time. In the book Gokuman Island, he is even locked up as a suspect in the murders. There is huge criticism of the rural societies that are closed off, superstitious, and suspicious of outsiders. This is especially highlighted in the Gokuman Island and the village of Eight Graves. It is very focused on the post-war Japan that has also made me want to read more about this era of Japan. This historical angle, which is actually contemporary for them, is a fresh angle among all of my recent reads, which are mostly all modern. The next step from this reading phase for me would be both wider and deeper. I want to read more of Japanese mysteries, but also read about this era from different perspectives, as well as branch out to read more classic detective fiction, maybe Western. Now, I would love to hear from you, your take on detective fiction, especially Japanese ones, and your recommendations on which books I should begin Poirot with, and generally Agatha Christie books. Until then, happy reading.